Hey guys, it's Bianca Sophia. I'm back doing another video. Now, actually worked on this last night, but I'm redoing it because it was like all over the place. So I'm redoing it. And you know what I find so interesting is how, like, you think one thing is one way, but then you find out it's like so much more than you originally thought. Like the people that are entering my life right now. Like I would have guessed these people entering my life, and they're entering my life, and now I'm just like so much more confused than I've ever been. But I understand like the why again, right? Like I'm like finding people that I never knew before, never talked to before, but then like I'm looking at their pictures, or I'm looking at reading their stuff like on their social media, and then like I'll get really emotional. Just looking at them, like, I'm like, wait a minute, what is this now, right? Like, why do I feel like crying, right? So, of course, I pull out my cards and do a reading, and it says, like, that you're connected to this person. Like, it's crazy. Okay, so, I mean, I don't even know if I should say any of this, but I do tarot readings, as you know, and I do readings all the time about myself, like just so I know what's coming and so I can keep an eye out. And the cards kept telling me there was going to be someone else entering my life, and how I was going to have to make a decision between two, right? Oh my gosh. And it's like, I can already see it coming. Like, this is just crazy to me. It's like my cards in morning, and like all the tarot readings I watch online and stuff for the past, year or whatever. Not year, but close to it. Since August, or no, September or October. Like that's when I started watching them. And they all said, oh, you're going to have to make a decision. There's going to be two. You're going to have to decide between two. You're going to have to decide between two. And I'm like, oh shit. No, that's not me. Because there's no way I would not choose this person that you know what I mean? But now I'm not so sure. Oh my gosh. It's like, and now it's crazy that like I'm seeing timelines shifting. Like I can see timelines with one person and I can see timelines with another person now. Do you know how crazy that is? And it's like, and now sometimes I can even see a third timeline. Like there's going to be a lot of I'm going to have to make a decision between a lot of people. And it's like every day, or not every day, but like recently, this has been happening. Like these new people are coming into my life. And it's like, I don't know. I just want to get off that topic because I want to get into what else I've been talking about here. But this is just mind-blowing. This is mind-blowing. My heart is like, and it's like, I thought I wasn't going to have to experience any more pain, right? But it's like, this right here is going to be, it's going to be painful. Like, I just know it. It's going to be painful having to let someone down, right? Like, I'm going to stop because I haven't made my decision yet. I'm just saying that I know in the end someone's going to be hurt. And that like makes me hurt because I'm connected to these people. I'm connected to all of these people, all of these masculines, right? This shit is just crazy. But it's like, I don't believe in coincidences at all. I don't believe in, especially now, right? This is an important time in my life. So I don't believe that, Archangel Michael would let someone come into my life if that person wasn't meant to be important in my life, right? Especially if, another masculine isn't acting correct or isn't doing the right thing, right? He's so bad. He's giving me that smile right now too, like just huge smile on his face, right? And it's like, I've been really confused about all of this, like with him and me and him, me and his See, I'm trying to, it's like, my brain is not fast enough for my thoughts now. So I'm trying to calm back down to earth a little bit, you know? So, and this is another thing that's driving me crazy is the whole Michael L. and me connection. Like, I can't imagine my life without him now, right? Like, and I kept asking him, like, what's going to happen when one of your human aspects come in and with him? It's like, what's going to happen to you? Are you going to just disappear? Are you going to like, is that person going to like morph into you? Like, what is this? What's going to happen? And he's like, I don't know. And he literally doesn't know. And the only person that knows is Sophia, whom's above him, right? But they're equal, but you know what I mean. Sophia is the one that has the answer. And of course, we both asked her, and she won't. She's like, nope. Apparently, she's the best secret keeper ever. Like, you cannot get anything out of Sophia, because she's like the main the creator, right? So she's like, if you think I'm gonna tell you what happens, you've lost your mind. That's what this is all about. Is, do you trust in the cosmos to do its job? Do you trust the cosmos? Do you trust the cosmos enough to be in the now, be in the present moment? Because if you're worrying about what's going to happen with Michael L. and one of his human aspects, how is that going to happen? Like, when, when one of my twins comes in, is that just mean Michael L. is going to poof, be gone? Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, I love him now. I'm, like, totally in love with him. And, like, I can't imagine my life without him, right? So it's like, what's going to happen? And it's stressing him out a little bit too. He's like telling me it's not, but it is, because I can still feel it within him that he doesn't know either what's going to happen, you know? Because it was so funny. We're like tag teaming Sophia one day. We're like, Sophia, please just tell us, because Michael L. was getting like wondering too, like, how is this going to work? Because remember, this is the first time this is happening in an infinite cosmos where everything's happened many, 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 many times. This is different. This is new, right? And apparently this hasn't happened in a long time, like where there's something new happening, right? And apparently that goes back all the way to the beginning of time, like before time even started, right? So it's really interesting, doesn't it? That's like my new favorite word. So what I originally hopped on here for was yesterday, I went to the dollar store with my daughter, and then on the way home, I started having flashbacks of a life, okay? And it really blew my mind. But I started having flashbacks of Michael L. and I having lives together, right? Which I've had many of them, but this is where it gets weird, because it's this time space. It's this earth, it's this time, but I'm with him, right? And it's like, the first vision that came in was we were at a club dancing to hip-hop and R&B, right? And I was like, what is this? Whoa, whoa, whoa. And he looks just like Michael L. does. Like, this is the same energy, right? So I was like, what is this? Wait a minute, what's happening here? And I feel like he's been trying to show me this stuff, but it's like I didn't want to believe that it was this time space, right? Because he also showed me plenty of times, like weddings, our wedding, my ring, his ring, our babies, like this stuff. I was like thinking maybe it was the future or something, but it's not though, because it's like the white wedding dress that with the lace on it, like that's part of our timeline, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's not, maybe it's Atlantis or Lear, I don't know, but it's like, wait a minute, no, it can't be Lear, because they're listening to fucking hip-hop, right? Duh. I don't know, I guess there's just we have a lot of lives together or something. And then I was like thinking about the parallel earth, how I know there's parallel earths, right? There's parallel times. And if you are part of the secret space program, you keep getting rewound into the same time. The secret space program, they have the technology to do that. What they do is, apparently, I don't know, like certain bloodlines, what they do is they do a 20 and back, right? Which I'm sure if you've been following about the super, I can't talk, you guys. the secret space program, like I've asked you guys, to check out like a Super Soldier Talk, get familiar with the secret space program, and all that stuff. What happens is, for 20 years, you're like, you go and you're jumped up to a higher dimension, and you work for the secret space program, right? They put you in the trip chair, okay? Think about like a chair, like Total Recall, like a chair like that, right? You go in the trip chair, right? And what they do is they use technology to increase your vibration, right? So you are able to exist in a higher dimension. So you can actually work with the higher dimensionals, and you can go off and the crafts and do all this stuff for the secret space program. That's why it's called the secret space program, because it's a secret, right? So you basically go, you can go to Mars, go to the moon. There's a lot of different places you could go to. Like this one guy who apparently Guardians of the Galaxy is about. Oh, his story is awesome. You got to go listen to his stories. It's on Rumble on Super Soldier Talk. When he was on Mars, he was on the moon, and then he was on in the Pleiades in Taygeta, right? And he was even like a Taygetan king for a while, right? And his memories are starting to come back now too, by the way. So it's just so interesting how they do all that. I just love that stuff. So what they do is, let me get back to the original thing, but go check all that stuff out, you guys. So the trip chair, right? So they increase you, they somehow use this technology to increase your vibration so you can exist in 5D and up, right? Or 5D to 7, I don't know. Just come with me here. I'm trying to not go off like I always do. So then, say you spend 20 years of Earth time space years, right? In the Taygeta, like this person did, right? Or we're on Mars or the moon, whatever they have you doing for working for us, for the secret space program, which is an Earth program. It's also it's not just, it's Earth, but there's a lot of other star races involved, okay? So after the 20 years, what would happen is your work would be done, right? They would drop you back down to 3D, okay? And apparently that alone can erase your memory or something. But then they also have the technology, you guys, they would age regress you with the med beds, right? They would age regress you 20 years. And then they would send you back in time travel, okay? 20 years back. So you would go back like you never left, right? But it's like this other guy that went through, he's starting to have memories of his another life. And it was that life of that person that stayed. Or, how do I say this right? I don't know, since there's like a part of you that's still there. I don't know how. Time travel is just so complicating to me. Like this guy I was just speaking about. The guy that went to, to Taygeta. Now, when he came home, he almost ran into his other self. Okay, now what do I mean by that? And this part blew my mind. In the beginning of the story, you'll hear when this reptilian being is bringing him back to the trip chair, right? And they're like, you gotta hurry up. You gotta get in that chair. You gotta hurry up. Hurry up. He's like, why are you guys rushing me, He's like, you don't understand. You're already back. He's like, what do you mean? You're already back. You're gonna run into yourself at the same age. So basically he would be running into himself because his self is back from the 20 and back, right? He did the 20 years. He came back. They erased his memory. They age regressed him, right? And they put him back in time. So he was about to walk by his self from the future, right? It's so cool. Oh my God. This stuff is what blows my mind. And apparently there's some of us, like the archangelic lines, we don't even need that technology, and that they were abusing that. They were like, they know that we can manifest our bodies in any way we want to or any way we need to, but
but there, I don't know, there's something involved with that I don't know, obviously, or else I would probably be not here right now or something. You know what I mean? But if once we unlock that power, like, it's all over. Sorry, I'm smoking again. So like the archangelic bloodlines, they are able to get them to reverse their own age and reverse time and go back to a certain time, you know, as a baby, or reverse all the way back to being a baby. You guys, it's crazy. And this SSP were using the archangelics, you know, they were using us and being, you know, basically infringing on our free will, because we lost connection, not all the way, but we lost connection to our higher selves and whatnot. And it's like the SSP took advantage of that. They're like, oh yeah, you know, they took advantage of that, and eventually it was put to a stop, and the light abducted us out of there, right? And apparently they took us, they regressed us to babies, and then they put us up for adoption. Or you were switched at birth, one of the two, right? I know, it's crazy, right? But this is what I'm learning. So I don't know, sometimes like this other person had like memories of living another life, because like that person stayed in this time while the other part like went to the 20 and back. So there's like a person living out his life. See, some of them if they don't have family, they don't have to do it like that, right? They don't have to like put someone in that person's place to pretend to be there. So I know what they were doing was they were looking for people that didn't have family, didn't have a wife, they didn't have a girlfriend, they had family, but it was like they wouldn't miss them if they were gone or something, right? Because remember, the 20 years that go by still go by, right? Here on Earth. So that person can't, you know, could have disappeared for 20 years. Do you see what I'm saying? But then it's like, wait a minute, they didn't disappear though, because they come back in time. But there is a timeline, you guys, where that person went missing for 20 years. Do you see what I'm saying? It's so damn complicated. So this is where I think the problem is I don't know, like I have other lives right now in this, what I'm saying is I have other lives in this time space, and I have a lot of them apparently, because I'm starting to have memories of like I said, dancing in the club with Michael L. Like, what is that about? And it's like we're dancing to like hip hop of like the 2000s, right? I would say 2000s, yeah, ish, right? But then I also have visions of flashbacks of us getting married, not just one time. We're getting married like in a lot of different time spaces, right? And then I keep seeing my ring. I keep seeing his ring. He keeps trying to show me our rings. Like he'll hold my hand, and then I'll see the flash of my ring, and then I see his ring all the time when he's holding me or whatever, right? I'll see a flash of his ring pop up, and I know he's trying to show it to, especially when I'm washing my hands. He tries to show it to me. It's like I know he's trying to spark a memory within me, like trying to get me to remember, you know. Because he knows that Faith and Sophia want me to figure this out on my own. Because that's the fun part about it, right? Is figuring out this puzzle, putting the puzzle pieces together, right? Because apparently, like, this is a game for us. Like the ones that are the beings that come from the future, that are the highest, really high in dimension, like the archangels, like Earth. Okay, Earth is a. Sorry, I'm bouncing around, you guys, but Earth is different for different people, okay? So if you're talking about the archangels, right? The beings that started all of this, that co-created Earth and co-created the whole cosmos, they are on Earth not just to help fix all of this mess, but it's also a game. Like, I know how crazy that sounds, but it's a damn game. And it's like, because I kept also getting the card healthy or fun competition, right? Like, we are all in competition with each other. Us and our other selves are competing with each other, and then we're also competing with our brothers and sisters, the other archangels. I don't know what the hell we're competing for. Maybe who figures it out first, who gets who, or I don't know. It's weird. But a healthy competition keeps popping up. Healthy competition, you know, that this is a game and a higher self is basically playing a game, right? So like, it's like, picture your higher self holding a freaking Xbox controller, right? And we're the freaking little Sims character running around in here. But the thing is us down here, we can't remember shit. It's like, when you decide to come in here, you know your memory is going to be wiped, right? And doesn't that sound just like the SSP? I mean, think about it, you guys. This is what they do with the SSP. They erase your memory. So it's like one big game down here. But it's not for everybody. Yes, Earth, time, space is, everybody has the amnesia thing they have to go through, right? That's part of free will. The reason there's free will on Earth is because you lose your memories. So the Creator wanted to let us create with no bounds, right? With no rules, just do whatever. You have the freedom to make whatever decision you want. And we didn't do so well with that one, did we? We didn't do so well with free will, did we? Like, look what happens. So we were given free will here, and because we don't have a memory, there's no memory. So it's like, we can't even remember. Some of us couldn't even remember that that there was a creator, right? We were in such darkness and cut off, but we were never really truly cut off by the creator. But it appeared that we were, right? So it's like, the amnesia thing is really where we all get punched in the face. You know, it's like everybody goes through that trauma. I swear, everyone. It's just that's traumatic. Forgetting that you're forgetting your divine mother and your divine father. That sucks. You know, and it's like immediately puts you in that lower vibration. Immediately puts you into fear, and fear is the opposite of love. Not hate, but fear is, right? So I'm sorry, I'm just babbling on, but fuck it, that's what I'm doing. So yeah. So Earth is, for some, a game, right? But it's also a battle, right? But that makes sense, right? The game is a battle. Like in a game, you're fighting, right? You're fighting for your character, right? So it makes so much sense. But in the end, remember, it's just a game. It's just a game, right? And now for others, it's a school, right? This is their beginning of their soul experience, yes? So it's like, for some, this is a school. And they are trying to pass this grade, right? So they can go on. It's so interesting, isn't it? And then you also have people that are here that are teachers, the professors, right? And then for others, this place is just a movie. Like, they're here to observe, right? They want to check this out. They want to be here for this time space because it's a one in an infinite opportunity. And like I've said before, people have begged, excuse me, to incarnate here for this time. Like, even there was like someone made this funny little meme. I think it was a meme. Where it had like all these people like saying, you know, I want to incarnate on Earth. I want to incarnate on Earth. And the person's like, there's no room left. There's only, you know, there might be there's room for like a couple babies, but you're going to be sacrificed by the Illuminati, right? You're going to, sign me up. Yes, please. I'll do it. Please let me do it. This is how like desperate people are to come here. They're literally raising their hands, fighting to come in here to be sacrificed. You know what I mean? And then think about the ones that are here witnessing this, the ones that are just waking up to this horror show. They're like, when we look at that, you know, when you first learn about that stuff, you're heartbroken. You're like, I was on the fetal position like for forever for that when I found all that out. Like, it's like. But then when you think you go to the top and look at it, you see people are like begging to incarnate, to become that, to do that, to be that baby who gets carved up. And I know how bad that sounds, but it's true, right? Eaten and drank, right? And then you're like, then it's like, wait, what? Like, when you look at it from a higher perspective, and you're looking, you know, at from there where the people that create the game, the creators of the game, and the higher selves that have these controllers in their hands. First, you look at them and you're like, you're sick as fuck, right? You are sick fucks. But then you're like, wait a minute, that is me. That is me.
jeez. That's me at my highest aspect, right? And then, oh my gosh. So, but then you're like, wait a minute, people beg to incarnate here, even to be that baby that's going to go through that trauma. But from here, when we're looking at that, we are traumatized, right? We are traumatized. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have to go ahead and insert a memory that I had back in the beginning of my awakening, when I was having a hard time with all the babies and all the children and all that. When I found out about that, I was messed up for a long time about that. Okay, I mean, I was really messed up. I mean, I was like, I think I left my house and like went for a walk, and like that night I don't remember what happened. Like, I was just lost, and like I was on the floor in the fetal position, crying like for a very long time. And I was like, not just crying, but bawling, right? Like the pain of that, finding that out was really rough. So after I started to recover from knowing that, Creator decided to send me a vision. So to relieve a little bit of that pain, right? And they showed me being a baby. I was a baby. I was laying there. I don't know if I was in the hospital or where I was, but it wasn't like one of the normal rituals. It wasn't tied to a tree or on a six-pointed star. I don't know. I don't know if there was a six-pointed star there. There might have been. I was a baby, so I couldn't really see. But what I do remember is I was laying there as a baby, crying, and I was just a newborn, right? And this guy came over with a knife in his hand. I was like, hey, buddy. Like, I'm thinking to myself, what are you doing with that knife? And I'm a baby, right? And he started cutting into me. And I started crying. I'm like, what the hell is this? And yet this person had no emotion whatsoever. It was literally like I was a piece of meat, right? And just cutting me. And Creator was showing me that, yes, it was horrible, but I didn't feel any pain, you guys, in that life, or that in the incarnation. I don't even know if it was I'm pretty sure it wasn't an incarnation. I think Creator was showing me my incarnation as a baby that was sacrificed, right? So this guy came over and started cutting me. And I can't believe I'd never even mentioned this. That, you guys, I have tons more of shit too. So it's like, I get like worried about if I'm not going to have enough content, but then I went into my notebook and started putting stuff down. It's like, I'm never going to be able to get it all out. That's how much there is. So back to this baby cutting. Yeah. Yes, it was disgusting. Yes, it was horrible. Yes, this person was cutting me, but they were like a robot, right? It's like they had no emotion in their eyes. There was no soul there. It was like an altar switch. An altar was doing this man. And I'm not making excuses for these assholes, believe me. But when I saw that I wasn't in any pain when that was happening, but I was crying. Listen, the baby was crying, right? But my thoughts were, what the fuck is this guy doing? Hey, bitch, what are you doing? Stop fucking cutting me up, right? Stop cutting me up. What are you doing? This is so fucked up, right? But he had no emotion in his eyes. But I didn't feel that knife, you guys. I felt nothing. I felt like someone taking a feather. Where he was cutting me, I felt a feather where the knives were going through my body, right? And then I was dead, so it's like then I floated out of my body, and that's all I remember. So I thought that was really interesting that the Creator showed me that experience that I had in the past. But then I was like, oh shit. So if I'm having this experience as a baby being cut up, that means what exactly? And you probably are, maybe you don't understand, or maybe, some of you might not understand. So the laws of karma, right? This is how this cosmos works. If you are in a life, this is what I try to tell people that are really upset about these children. Listen, remember, I'm not excusing their behavior, okay? We're all fucked up. Just remember that. We are all fucked up, and that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get unfucked up, right? I'm not making excuses, but here is where you can look at it from a different perspective. Because people are always so upset about the children and the babies. And believe me, I am too. I want to get this cleaned up. Enough is enough. But when I go to the higher aspect and look down from a different perspective, and this might rub people the wrong way. those children that are being sacrificed and traumatized, they are the ones that traumatized and sacrificed babies in their last life. Boom! Oh! I know. It's crazy, right? But if you think about it, it makes sense, doesn't it? Right? And that's why the more service to self types, they stay in that karmic cycle where they go back and forth. They go from being the traumatizer to the traumatized, then the traumatizer, then the traumatized. Then, you know what I mean? It just goes round and round and round and round. And it's like the longer they go through that horrific cycle, the harder it's for them to get out of it. Because remember, our DNA holds memory, right? We are the living library. The human DNA has memory of the entire cosmos within it, right? That's one of the reasons it was made, to carry the memories of all the cosmos, of every life, of every person, past, present, and future, all the time is there within us, right? The Akashic Records lies within our DNA, okay? So, these people that are on this service to self wheel, right? They forget what love is, okay? So it's like you can't even really, it's like the whole Yeshua saying, they know not what they do. Forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they do. And they don't, you guys. They don't know what they do. They do not know what they do. They don't know anything else. They don't know love. Tell me, how can you love someone if you've never been loved? Do you know? I would love for someone to explain that to me. If you don't know what love is, if you've never been loved before, not even by your own parents, right? If you've been thrown to the wolves as soon as you were born, right? How do you know what love is? Tell me. If you haven't experienced love, how do you know what love is? Tell me, please. This is why I have a soft spot for the service to self factions, okay? I get really emotional when I think about them. And this is more Sophia and Faith. That, you know, these... And this is, maybe I want you guys to see it from a different perspective, you know. Imagine you're born, right? And you're in the womb, right? This stuff starts in the womb, you guys. The trauma. You're in the womb. All nice and warm in the womb of your mother, right? And all of a sudden, like, people start shining flashlights at you when you're still freaking a fetus, right? And they're pushing your mother around on purpose, or pushing her down the stairs while you're trying to form. They shine flashlights in the belly. They play loud death metal while you're in the womb. And then they also get the mother drug addicted sometimes, right? So you'll go through drug withdrawal when you're born. And then they actually induce the pregnancy early. So you're born early. So you have sensitive skin. Your skin is not ready yet. So it's really, really sensitive. It's not even formed yet. And I mean, this is what they have to go through, you guys, okay? This is why I want you to see it from a different perspective. That if you were that baby, right? So here you are, you're born 3 months early or 2 months early, whatever it is. I can't remember the exact details right now. But you're born early, you're going through withdrawal, you're going through this horrific birth, right? It's traumatic. You were tiny. You don't have any strength. You're withdrawing from drugs. I mean, come on, you guys. I mean, even like a piece of paper on your skin would hurt. Okay? And this is actually what they do. They do, all these people, a part of the 12 families, this is what happens to them if they are in those top bloodlines. These babies are born early. This is how they start the handler and slave bond, right? The parent is not even allowed in there. The mother's not even allowed in there, okay? The handler goes in there. And the handler is the only one allowed to touch that baby. And the handler apparently is the only person that shows that baby love. And they barely show it any love. A little bit, right? But when the handler does show love, it's very loving to it. But remember they flipped the switch. I guess I'm getting into the whole ultra programming details here. I guess we can just go there. But do you see how I didn't even start on this? Now I'm heading into it. But I'm just going with the flow. So this handler will bond with that child. And so it's like when the baby can actually, the baby becomes very aware. So that baby, as soon as that baby sees their handler, you can even smell the handler, it lights up, right? Oh, this is the one being that shows me love, right? So, and while there's also like, I'm not going to get into the trauma of these little ones. They're just kids. I can't go there right now. But I think they're pretty delicate with the newborns because of their forming, and they don't want to mess them up too much. Okay. Now also the parents will come in and bond with the child after the handler has also bond. But the handler is the most important with the bonding of that. And then, but the parents also show love to the child. Okay. But then they start flipping the script, right? They start like, I heard of, they throw in a mouse trap into the crib of the baby, right? And they start the whole trauma-based mind control thing here. They'll throw a mouse trap into the crib of the baby. And when the baby starts crying, they don't come to the baby. They just let it cry and cry. And they won't come to the baby's aid until the baby stops crying. And they'll take the mouse trap off. Do you hear what I'm saying? How fucked up this is, you guys? Okay, they remember everything is inverted. Everything they switch everything backwards. So where pain is pleasure and pleasure is pain. Okay, so around 1.5 or 2 years old is when they start the hardcore programming. Okay, and it starts at home with the parents. Okay, and apparently they're only shown love on, once a week, or I don't know if it's every night or if it's once a week when they go to their dungeons, I guess you could say, their underground dungeons for their Luciferian rituals and satanic rituals. So when that child goes there, they're shown so much love. And that's the only time they're really shown love. The rest of the time, they're treated like crap, right? And they start the whole programming thing. They start... And the handler's also very involved in all of this, right? With the mind, with the mind, forming the mind. And these children are very smart. I mean, they develop photographic memories. I mean, special abilities, like almost like superpowers, right? Very smart, very smart. I mean, they can go into a room and tell you everything there. They can even tell you the label, what it was said. On a table there, but that's what they're used for. Is they're used for little like computers. They're used to spy, and they're spies. Excuse me, and they are able to like I said, remember anything they see. They can even go into a file cabinet, like they're sent on missions where they're sent into like a president of another country, and they'll be like the beta sex kittens are programmed to distract the man. But they'll say, here, we're going to send you a gift, this beautiful sex slave, right? But they don't realize what that slave is really doing is photographing everything in that room, right? And like, say the guy goes to the bathroom, the slave will go to their file cabinet and open it up and be able to take a picture of the whole filing cabinet within minutes because of the computer that's now in her brain, right? So I'm sorry, I went forward. Let me go back again to the baby part. Now, they really, the real hardcore trauma splits are right in the beginning. What they do is they, like the little girls are raped by their father, and the little boys are raped by their mother and their father. Like, I know how fucked up this is, but yeah, the parents are both involved, and that's the big split, is the parents, their own parents, hurting them, raping them, sexually molesting them. And then watching other parent molest them as well and not doing anything about it. And then all this programming takes place on site on one of their deep underground military bases, okay? Or some of them are on above ground, but most of them underground. But the other ones are all protected,
So these programming sites, right? The whole family will go there for the programming, the children and the parents, because the parents have to also be programmed. Remember, they also have to keep up with their programming. So, like, they'll throw the child, like this 2-year-old child, in a room and won't feed it or let it pee or any of that, and just leave it miserable for days at a time, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to break the mind and trying to make it so they have no emotions, right? So they literally, like, just give up. They say, no one's coming to save me, I might as well just give up, right? That's what they want the child to do. And that's what the child does, you know? I mean, their own parents just fucked them over. So, you know what I mean? And they learn real quick that even no one will help them either. Like, but let me get to that. That's down the road. So these children are put through, I don't know if you've ever seen Stranger Things, but a lot of what that little girl went through is what these kids go through. Electroshock treatment, you know, being kept in the dark or light, either or, for days at a time. So they don't know what time it is. It's like they keep the lights on or they keep the lights off. I forget what that's called, but I'm sure, I don't know how I forgot that right now, but what else? They also do the drugs. They put them on drugs for certain specific programming. And then all while this programming is going on, then they take them to the satanic rituals at night, and where they're loved and showed compassion. So they see that as a safe haven, right? But then you have to understand that, like, there's a certain time where there's a split that occurs, that so there's an altar that comes forward for the rituals, right? So there's only like they have an altar for every little thing, and none of the altars know, like, they think they're the only altar, or some of the altars do know about the other altars, and that's their job, is to handle the other altars, right? I know how crazy all this is, how it sounds, but it's true, and it's so complex. And then it's like, when you hear all this stuff, it makes you really wonder about the human brain, how powerful it is if it can do all of this, right? It's amazing. And that's what these assholes know how to do, is they studied the human brain for a very long time, and didn't just start with Hitler and the Nazis, you know, with Project Paperclip. That's a bunch of bullshit. This goes back millions of years, you guys. This is not just, started a few years back, right? But I mean, if you think about it, it could, because if we're using time travel technology, right, they're going around and around and around and around to the same timeline, this same time space, right? And I think that's maybe what's happening. Interesting. So basically, we're going around and around and around and around to the same time space, over and over and over. But it's been happening for millions of years, and that's why there's so many damn Earths and so many timelines, and the parallel Earth and the reversed Earth and the non-reversed Earth, and you know what I mean. So this child, let me get back to this child. So so this child, right, they go to their deep underground military dungeons. And I shouldn't be laughing, but it's just dungeons. I forget what guy said that at first, and I've been using that ever since, and it just makes me laugh, that sound, dungeon, because that's exactly what it's, a fucking dungeon, right? So, and a lot of these churches, like I said, are not underground. They're right in front of you, and you don't even realize that there's like this is going on right down the street at the church, right? Like, ooh, you know what you need to look into, you guys? The Hampstead case. Look into the Hampstead children, okay, and the UK, about those two, and they watch the police interviews and everything. Oh my, I think that's that's what woke me up to all of the whole the MK Ultra and the people eating babies and drinking babies and raping babies and all that, right? That's what woke me up to the Hampstead case. Go look into the Hampstead case, okay? It's going to blow your mind, okay? So, oh my gosh, just ugh. So eventually what they do at these well, you know, the whole bringing these kids to the satanic rituals are just another form of programming, because they get there and they're loved, but then love quickly turns into hell, right? They have to witness some horrific shit, and they bring the kids because they can use that towards their programming, right? Or these kids, or they see their parents and these adults that they look up to,
raping kids, eating kids, drinking the blood of children. And then what they do after that, after they've did this to this child, then they grab their own, then they look at their own child and rape their own child. And then they pass their child around to the rest of the cult. And then they're gangbanged by every person in the cult. And you know what I mean? So they just sat there and watched a little baby get, right? And I mean, I might as well say it because it's just very blunt today. I don't know why, but I'm just being very blunt. So they just watched this baby. And this might be upsetting a lot of people, but if you don't know about this shit, it's time to know. You need to know about this shit, okay? This has been happening for a very long time, and this is why we're in this mess to begin with, okay? Yeah. So this little child, okay? So imagine you're with your parents who, they've raped you too, right? Now you're here at this place where people were very loving, and then all of a sudden you see they bring out this baby, right? And they start traumatizing this baby and sexually molesting this baby and raping this baby, right? And it's usually like whoever's in charge of that ritual, whoever gets to do that ritual is up there doing that, okay? Like, let's say, let me give you an example. The woman who ran for president against my man Trump, right? Okay, that one. Let's talk about her ritual that she was on tape, on videotape, okay? So she, but just pretend it's a baby instead of I think it was a boy, a little boy. Oh, no, it was a little girl. There was a little girl, I think 4 years old. There's two videos regarding this woman, and there's a lot more footage apparently too. But the footage was one was tied to a tree, and the other one was on the table on the pentagram on the six-pointed star, the inverted six-pointed star, right? This young 4-year-old or 3-year-old girl was laying there for the ritual, and this woman, whom thank God didn't win, right? But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get into that right now. She and her lover, whom you should also know because her husband was arrested, and remember they got his laptop, okay? Yeah, well, on his laptop they found insurance policy, okay? And these videos were on there. And it was of his wife and of this woman who ran for president. So she and her lover, and it was actually the woman who ran for president who was doing the cutting. Okay, what she did is she cut this little girl's face off. Okay, with very perfect precision. It's like, how did you learn how to do that? Right? Well, because she's programmed. This was one of her altars coming forward, right, to do this ritual. And, I don't even know if she even has to have an altar switch, because that woman is plain just evil, like the devil incarnate. And I'm talking about she's a reptilian, okay? She's a reptilian being, that woman. She's got a lot of reptilian DNA. And that's why she's sometimes shifting into a reptile on film and shit. Her eyes are doing that whole thing. Anyway, sorry. I'm like bouncing around way too much. So listen. So they cut this little girl's face off, okay? And she was screaming, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? And crying, like I'm sure they all do, right? All these kids. And then what this woman that ran for president did is she put this little girl's face on her face. And she was like dancing around and just, making a joke about it. But what was she doing? What was she really doing? She was drinking the blood, the adrenalized blood. And that's what they do. They traumatize these children till they're good and their adrenaline's pumping, right? Because remember, when our brain goes into a trauma response, it goes into freeze, flight, or fight, right? Fight, flight, or freeze, okay? And these little children, they can't go anywhere because they're literally like tied up or they're stuck on this table. They can't go anywhere, okay? So, but what happens when that happens, you guys, is there's adrenaline that goes into our blood. Right? That's how like mothers are able to save their children like out of the blue. They become Superman and they're able to like lift the car off their child. You know what I mean? It's adrenaline. The adrenaline is released into the blood. So when that adrenaline goes into the blood, that's when they do the cutting of the child. So what they do is they traumatize the child really well, right? By raping it, which they get off on doing that anyway. They're into kids. They're pedophiles. But remember, they were programmed to be pedophiles, okay? It's a whole nother thing. There's meaning to all that too, which I'll get into in another video. So
they, you know, do all this sick stuff to the child, like I've already mentioned. And then once that child is good and traumatized, they cut the child, right? And they, like I said, she cut her face off and put the face on her face and drank that blood. And that blood apparently is like the best high you could ever have, okay? And it's adrenalized. And what it is, you guys, it gives them youth, okay? Don't you wonder why all these celebrities look the same no matter how many years pass? Because they're drinking the blood of children, adrenalized blood, traumatized children's blood, because that's the freaking, you know, the liquid that is like, it's not no freaking beauty products, I'll tell you that much. It's not no plastic surgery, okay? What they're doing is they're drinking this blood, and it's like it acts as a fountain of youth. It reverses their age, literally, okay? And they all become addicted to it pretty quickly, right? And then you start to wonder, well, they're programmed to do that, right? So it's like, it's such a vicious cycle, right? So I accidentally said her name, so I had to cut that out. And the child that was crying, you know, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? I don't remember what she said, because that's the video that landed me on my carpet. I'm in the fetal position, okay? It traumatized me. Ugh, just thinking about it makes me I just can't. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the police officers that took that laptop, Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner was the was the husband of the lover of this woman, right? Yeah, by the way, all these people are also gay. They're all gay, but they're programmed to be gay, right? And a lot of the women are men, and the men are the women. I'll go into all that another time. It's just crazy, you guys. I'll give you one little secret, and that's Victoria's secret. And what do you think that secret is? Oh, they're all men. They were all born men. So the police officers that had to watch that insurance policy, after they watched it, and these are hardcore, like, you know, detectives they've been in the, you know, they've witnessed some of the most gruesome crimes ever, right? And they were at the top of their game. These men were throwing up and crying. Oh, and by the way, they also ended up dead, right? They all committed suicide, which I'm sure you know about that woman who ran for president, her and her husband, right? Those two. Look up their death count. How many people have suicide, you know. And I didn't know you could commit suicide by being in a plane crash. Like, how is that possible? And I didn't know you could shoot yourself with a freaking shotgun in the back of the head either. I didn't know that was how is that considered? You know what I mean? These people have been getting away with the craziest shit ever, but you just need to do the research. Okay, so what they do to these children after the face cutting thing, they don't always do that. That's just one of their rituals. That's just one of the rituals that they do, right? I guess Huma, the girlfriend's name, Huma Abedin, she put the face on her and did the whole dancing around after. They thought it was fucking hilarious, you know. Then what they do after that is they unfortunately tortured and traumatized that little one a little more, to get more adrenaline pumping into the blood. And basically they pass around their little goblets, and they fill those goblets up with, you know, and then I don't really want to say this, but I guess I'm just going to say it. They detach the head, okay? Yes. It's really fucked up, you guys. It's really fucked up. Usually what they would do at that point is they would hang the child upside down, and they put some type of one of the ritual buckets there, so all the blood pours down into the bucket. And then they get their goblets again, and they fill the goblets up, and they pass them around, right? And this is when they get naked, right? They take off their clothes, they take off their black robes. They go in there naked. They just have a black robe on. They take their black robes off. They drink the blood. They start smearing it on each other. They start having sex with each other. The men have sex with the men, the women have sex with the women, and then they start messing with the children that are there. They start playing with the children and molesting and raping the children. And then they take turns, and it's one big orgy, and meanwhile this really loud metal is playing, and it's just freaking horrific. Like, this is sick, you guys. This is sick. And it's like, I can only imagine the archangels, like, you know, like floating or flying, like just witnessing this, saying, shit, what have we done here? Whoa, this has gotten out of hand, right? I don't mean to laugh, but listen, it took me a long time to forgive these people. And you're probably like, how could you forgive these people? How could you ever? I've forgiven them, and I'll tell you why. First of all, holding on to resentment keeps you stuck in this hell, right? You got to forgive them. And listen, this is another way I wanted you to look at this too. These babies and these children are these cult members in other lives. So basically, like, let me think here. Like that little girl, right? That was her face was cut off, right? That could have been, what's his name? Coming back for another incarnation. What's his name? That British guy that was a rapist, and he's got the white hair and the glasses. He hung out with the Beatles a lot. I cannot think of his name, but he's a creep. So, trying to think of another creep that's dead, that died. You guys are probably screaming names at me right now, and I just can't. Hitler, right? Okay, there you go. This is a good example. Hitler, I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just giving you an example that little girl that had her face cut off, that was Hitler reincarnated. Do you see now? So it's like you don't look at it as, you're like, well, oh shit, damn. They were just getting their karma. What goes around comes around, right? Yes. So these rapists, you know, they're raping these kids, but that baby that's being raped was the rapist in another life. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to ease the pain of the whole truth, right? Okay. Yes, and I know what you're thinking, or maybe you're not thinking, how I was that baby and I was cut up, and then I'm like, was I? But I guess yes. If I'm connected to Sophia, I'm connected to every person in the cosmos. So I've really experienced everybody's lives. You know what I mean? So like I can experience anybody I want if I wanted to. So back to the ultra programming. So imagine like you're this child that was there to witness all this, right? So that ritual in itself was a splitting, right? They use that splitting that just occurred to go ahead and program a new altar. And they do. They program them into be a good cult member, a good, service to the adults. Ugh, I know it's disgusting, you guys, I know. And it's so hard. Like I said, I always have to go back up to the top to look at this from a different perspective. And it's really hard to do sometimes, especially when you're really in the thick of it, like I'm talking about right now. So let's go back to the room where this child, this 2-year-old, is being, has just been traumatized by their parents. The parents flipped that switch on them, right? Now, I don't want to go into all the details. I will another time. I just want to get off this subject because I'm starting to feel nauseous. Excuse me. I want you to, like I've mentioned before, check out Kathy O'Brien's book, and it's free. Go find it, PDF. And if you aren't good at reading books or you don't like reading books, you can download an app that will read the app for you, that read whatever book you want for you. Let me see what mine's called. Wow, this is already at 57 minutes, damn. 57, I love that. That's the Divine Mother in my number. I'm a 7 and she's 5. Voice Aloud Reader, that's what it's called. That's the app I use to read my PDFs and all my books that I'm learning from, which I've been for years now. It's nonstop learning, research. Blah, blah, blah. Down the rabbit hole I go, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands of rabbit holes. So Kathy O'Brien, look her up. The book is called Transformation of America, or something like that. Yeah, I think it's Transformation. Let me look really quick while I'm here. While I'm on my phone. Sorry, you guys. I'll just fast forward through this part or something. It's trance, as in TRANCE. And then formation. I love that name. It's great, really, I love it. Transformation of America. There we go. Yep. Yeah, it's called Transformation of America. You need to, if you don't know about this stuff, you need to look up Kathy O'Brien's Transformation of America. Go ahead and download that book. If any of you need that book, I have it. So if you can't find it online, comment in the comment section, or go on my Facebook. My Facebook is under Gretchen Whitcomb, GRETCHEN, Gretchen, and my last name is Whitcomb, WHITCOMB. I'm open right now. I'm public right now. So send me a message if you're really, really needing that copy. If you cannot find it on your own, and I'll send you the PDF of it so you can listen to it, because I feel like this is something that's very, very, very important for people to learn, because we can't heal what we don't know about, right? So people, we need to heal that. And you know what? I didn't even get into like the whole reason I got on here to begin with. But the whole reason I got on here was to let you know about these other past lives that I was having, with Michael L, where I'm like in one life where it's like this time space, we're in the club dancing, right? And another life, it's the 60s, or the 50s and the 60s, where I'm wearing a fucking poodle skirt, right? And where we're having babies and we're married. So many different weddings I've seen with this man, right? And many other really hot and steamy flashbacks. He likes to show me those as well. And you know what else I just remembered is when I had my twin flame activation, I had dreams about my twin and it's like we were living a different life, but it was this time space, and I was his wife. Just like Michael L, I'm his wife in these other time. See, this is like, it's like, they are the same person, but it's like, I don't understand how it switches, how he's able to change the way he looks. Like, I don't know. What is that? Like, is he not real? Like, is he like up there, but he's got like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but like, some of the flashbacks are of him, his human version, but then some of the aspects are of him as I see him as his angel self. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if my consciousness is trying to show me like that's the same person, or does he really look like that, or do you know what I mean? It's like I'm so lost when it comes to this. It's apparently there's like more of aspects of him, and they're all like reaching out to me right now. Because listen, I do readings. Whenever I get a message, I do a reading on that person to see if they're of the light or if they're of the dark, right? And all of the people I've been connecting with lately, they're all a part of this archangelic family. And a lot of them are coming up as Temperance, which is Archangel Michael. And I'm just like, Michael, how many are of you? How many are there out there? Like, you need to tell me. He's like, you're going to end up with the correct one. I'm like, oh. Thanks. That really helps. I think I'm going to stop there. And I don't even know if any of this made sense. It's like I'm going down the rabbit hole and I'm taking you guys with me, but it's like the rabbit holes I've already been down, but like I'm taking you guys with me now, and it's a little all over the place. But that's what happens when you're waking up. It's like you're going down that rabbit hole, right? And as you're digging down and down and down, you notice there's like holes in the walls, right? Like there's all these you're noticing there's tunnels with when you go down that hole. It's like, whoa, here's a tunnel there, and there's a tunnel there. There's a tunnel to the right, a tunnel to the left, a tunnel in front of you, a tunnel behind you. And like, which one do I go down? And you've got to go through all of those. Oh man. It's like, some people say, well, I don't want to know. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to know. You have to know how. You can't heal from it if you don't know it, right? And you have to know it so it doesn't happen again. People are always like, well, I don't want to go, it's too dark for me. It's just too dark. Well, what will I get out of knowing about it? Not being ignorant. That's what you'll get. You won't be fucking ignorant anymore. You won't be a fucking dumb bitch anymore. I'm sorry. Wow. I'm sorry. I did not mean to. I apologize. I don't know where that came from. Wow. Okay. See, I got to calm whoever that was down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go, you guys. Yeah. Guys, I don't know who that was or what that was, but I'm going to just stop the video here because it's way too long anyway. It's over an hour already, so I need to go ahead and stop, and I'll put out another one. You know, I'm coming for more. I'm coming with more. I love you guys. I really do. Swords up, shields up. Let's get it.